Guys, welcome to this review chapter for Hunter x Hunter chapter 400, Concealed. Now, a lot happened in this chapter, a lot of shit referencing things that was happening 4 years ago in the last batch of chapters that dropped. And guys, just a quick thank you for everybody that's been following me the past 10 weeks now, following and reviewing these Hunter x Hunter chapters. It's been a blast, and there's a lot more to talk about in terms of the future of Hunter x Hunter. But for now, let's just go through the chapter. Alright, so the chapter starts off with Nobunaga returning to Finks and Feitan, and they're all just kind of trying to find the Haley family boss, or, you know, the room where Hinrigi left the transmitter. We get some nice setup / foreshadowing about some battles that are forthcoming, because Finks just be letting us know how difficult it is for him to use his Nen abilities. Also, now that Hinrigi has won the trust of Nobunaga, Finks and Feitan are kind of like, bro, like, we're supposed to be, you know, hell-bent on finding Hisoka. Like, you're kind of more interested in this Hinrigi prince mafia chasing business. Like, come on, bro. Like, Nobunaga even says, well, I won't deny it, we're up against some pretty interesting looking characters. Feitan says Nobunaga is a sucker for a good enemy. So the rest of the chapter now just focuses on some of the princes, and it's nice to catch up with them because, you know, it has been over 4 years. Sorry, Tagashi, I have to keep saying this. And yes, Text Gashi is back, killing us with the paragraphs, but I don't mind it, I enjoy it, but I know some people be complaining. Just quickly, despite some of the princes in this Succession War game being female, they're all referred to as prince. I can't remember why, but it's obviously a different name in Japanese, or how, you know, Hige means facial hair and there's no specific beard or moustache, kind of like that, I'm guessing. So Kacho is a twin, her twin sister is Fugetsu, and Melody is under the employment of Kacho. So about 15 or so chapters back, Fugetsu and Kacho are trying to escape the ship, but there is a penalty for trying to escape the ship, and it's basically death. But it's, you know, basically do not try and escape this whole Succession War ship that's leaving on the route to Dark Continent. Kacho unfortunately paid the ultimate price and lost her life. However, her Nenbeast ability is triggered by her death and thus takes the shape of Kacho and is indistinguishable between the original real Kacho and now her Nenbeast created in a perfect image of her. So not too many people know that Kacho's actually dead, and they'd rather people think that she's alive. So because of the events of the banquet, again, which happened about 15 or so chapters back, Melody and Kacho was taken to the Ministry of Justice interrogation room. And the Ministry of Justice, they're probably shady, come on, but they seem to be super neutral in all of this, like, you know, the most neutral people. That's what Melody's deduced anyway. So Melody, Kacho, aka Kacho's Nenbeast, are basically having a discussion, trying to figure out the best move going forward now that the real Kacho is dead. So they're trying to use this to their benefit. Also, after Melody's performance, a lot of princes have taken a liking to Melody now, or basically want to use him. So a lot are requesting audience with him. Kacho is proposing that, you know, Melody does it, and it's probably going to be for his help to assassinate another prince, and that's going to help them narrow down the numbers. But yeah, the conversation between Melody, Kacho, and this dude from the Ministry of Justice, like, it gets so intense. There's so many variables on what to do. They're thinking, do we try and take out all these princes? Do we try and massacre all of them? Do we tell people the real Kacho is dead or not? Melody's kind of worried about so many princes being interested in his Nen ability when it's just for healing. And he's like, you know, they probably wouldn't be as interested if they knew the ability could be stopped just by covering your ears. But this Ministry of Justice dude, he's just like, knowledge of that countermeasure might make for a good bargaining chip in an information war. So yeah, like, it's deep, like, all the different routes they can take. So after that conversation, Kacho goes to find Fugetsu just to make sure that she's up to date with all this information. So Kacho arrives in Fugetsu's room and can't find her. She panics, but she finds her guardian spirit beast in use, which is Magical Worm, the same Nenbeast / ability they was using to try and escape the ship. It's like a wormhole that can just basically take you anywhere. Upon finding this door, Kacho really starts to panic, because without her, once you've left the exit, the door should disappear. So she's really starting to worry now, thinking, you know, I thought I knew the rules and regulations of this ability. Fugetsu pops out of the door, and it turns out she has some massive game-changing news. Fugetsu says she thought her Nen ability could only be used once a day, but all of a sudden she's able to use it as much as she likes. Not only that, but she can manifest a return door by herself, and yeah, she just seems overly excited about the new use of her Nen ability. However, unfortunately, Fugetsu looks dreadful. Like, she looks terrible, she looks super ill, she looks like a shell of her former self. And you see Kacho internally question this. What's going on? Is this really the kind of power that grows in strength by being used? And Kacho says, but you seriously don't look well. Please don't push yourself, Fu-chan. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what has happened to Fugetsu. Is this perhaps like part punishment for trying to escape the ship? Like, could be that, because, you know, Kacho died and like there was a lot of like weird, dark, somewhat figures coming after them, and we can kind of see the figures following Fugetsu now, and it seems similar to the figures that was following her in a couple chapters back. So, you know, is this punishment for trying to leave the ship during the ceremony? So yeah, it could be that. Kacho insists that Fugetsu rest, but I don't think she's gonna listen to her, you know. Kacho then catches up Melody about Fugetsu's status, and Melody wants to check for himself. So he somehow times a point in the day when they're gonna cross paths. And like I said, it's not good news. Melody can see her aura and it's dwindling. Obviously she can hear her heartbeat and it's just all over the place. He says those evil spirits are being drawn to her unstable heartbeat. Like, what's happened? In just a few days her life force has been whittled away so much. So Melody's also on the way to a meeting room with two princes because they've requested audience with Melody upon hearing his beautiful music and the performance. Melody thinks that the timing of Fugetsu's deterioration is a kind of suspect. He's thinking, raw, is one of these princes going to use her as a bargaining chip? So the third prince in person comes to see Melody. He gives him a coin. Obviously this coin is connected to his Nen ability or his Nen beast, and I'm excited to see where that one goes. The captain of the fourth prince's private guard comes to meet Melody, and he basically just wants Melody to come and perform for the prince. Well, that's what he's being told to say anyway, but obviously the fourth prince definitely has ulterior motives for Melody. In both these conversations, Melody brought up the notion of negotiating, and he was kind of turned down on both ends. Or, you know, the heartbeats didn't falter. So he's kind of stressed now because that means he can't rule out any of the princes as suspects. So Melody be kind of stressed. And the chapter ends off with Kurapika kind of teaching Nen to another person on the ship. And I gotta say, it's nice to see Kurapika again because it has been like 4 years. And again, guys, thank you so much for following me on this journey the past 10 weeks. I've had so much fun making these videos. Not so much fun editing them, but yeah, just hearing you guys' reaction and comments, and yeah, it means a lot to me still. So thank you so much. Please subscribe, like for more content like this. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.